All right. Good morning, everybody. Okay, Sergeant Major says we had 5 inches of rain last night. Yeah, it kind of dribbled on us over here too. Uh, and hey, Dad, since you're watching, oh, that weed eater you lent me kind of shit the bed. It's old. Battery's no good no more. So I bought a new weed eater yesterday. All right, so Trump's sending in the Marines, guys. This is fun. We've got some stuff to talk about this morning. Let me pull up one more little thing real quick. The do. See if I can find the clip from Gloria Shinbal. Yeah, there it is. There we go. That's pulled up. I got everything else ready to rock and roll. Let's go to this. Something about audio sounds good now. Got it. Okay, so 700 Marines deployed to Los Angeles amid ongoing ICE protests. There is a lot to discuss right there. And let me tell you something. Okay. Today's military is not the same military that I left over a decade ago. Many, many things have changed, and that they've not changed for the better. Now, over the last 6 months, a little less than 6 months, since Trump was re-inaugurated, there appear to have been some substantial positive changes. But I want you to understand something. The rot, the problem, was already in full force when I was active duty. Okay? What you're seeing in Los Angeles right now is a result of a storm of several different factors. Yes, a major part of the problem is the enormous number of hostile foreign invaders that were allowed in under Joe Biden. And that was done clearly and very intentionally. Back in 2020, as we've talked about with the census situation many times before, the Democrats realized that they are really onto something here by flooding America, specifically the what they call the sanctuary states, these blue states that call themselves sanctuary states, by flooding those states with illegal immigrants. And part of the plan under Joe Biden, apart from the billions and billions of dollars in human trafficking and drug trafficking that the Biden administration was actively working to support, was the plan to just load blue states up with illegal aliens so that in 2030, when we get the next census, that all the blue states get an extra, dozen or so, all together. Right now, it looks like there are about 20 to 30 electoral college votes distributed across all blue sanctuary states that are illegitimate, as a matter of counting citizens versus hostile invaders, right? So Donald sending the Marines in to Los Angeles, the people on the ground that are protesting, and this is serious. There's serious violence going on there. We're going to get into that a little bit again this morning. There's some serious violence going on there. And it's important to understand that some of the people protesting are in fact American citizens. And that muddies things up a bit. It does. When I was still on active duty, I've talked about this before, we 4 or 5 times a year, at least, we would have to sit in an equal opportunity briefing where the primary message was always, if there's a white man near you, he hates you and will rape you. That's sexual harassment training, equal opportunity training, all that stuff. It always came down to, if you can see a white man, you're going to be raped and hated and murdered. In these briefings, one of the things that we got a lot of was they would show us various flags and iconography and symbols, symbols for white supremacist groups, Aryan Brotherhood, the KKK, et cetera, and tell us about what evil, racist, violent organizations these are. Looks like we're going to have a guest this morning. Come on. Come on. Oh, I got an Eleanor. Eleanor, good morning. Wave at everybody. Say good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. Since we've been interrupted by the monkey, who's going to be sent in to find some breakfast, I'll say this. She has her shirt on backwards, and there's a hole in this shirt. But she continues to wear this shirt because she thinks the kitty cat is cute. And here's the best part. I don't know how it is that this shirt has hung around. I certainly can't wear it. This was my t-shirt that I used to wear to bed when I was a little kid. So this shirt's been floating around for a little better than 40 years, and it's still one of Eleanor's favorites for some reason. So wave at everybody. Say, good morning, Granddad. Good morning, Ma.
Good morning, Ma.
Good morning, Megan.
Good morning, Megan.
Good morning, Uncle Patrick.
Good morning, Uncle Patrick.
Good morning, Trish.
Good morning, Trish.
Grandma Trish.
Grandma Trish.
Yeah. Okay. Give me a big hug. Go get you a bowl of cereal, okay? Or a granola bar. We've got those good granola bars today. Okay. Granddad says he loves you. And everybody on the internet says, good morning, Eleanor.
I love you too, Grandad.
I don't know if the microphone caught that because she just stepped outside the studio, but she shouted, I love you too, Granddad. Totally broke my train of thought. Oh, what was I talking about? Oh, okay. So in these briefings, one of the things that we would be beaten over the head with was they'd show us all the iconography and flags and everything, KKK, Aryan Brotherhood, white supremacy, constant. And then, and they would tell us, if you have any kind of iconography like this, and of course that included the Confederate flag, right? Or any state flag that still contained any portion of the Confederate flag, anything like that, that this was absolutely forbidden, and you could be removed from the military for that. But then they would go out of their way to show us things like the Mexican flag, the Jamaican flag, right? And not just national flags, but things like iconography for La Raza, right? Basically, if you wanted to have some kind of an ethnic pride, ethno-supremacist, or foreign flag flown in your vehicle, well, no, we respect the diversity of the heritage. Now, hold on a minute. I'm pretty sure I joined the American Army, the United States Army. So sure, no swastikas in the pickup truck. Gotcha. Right? And okay, I can even see an argument against the Confederate flag. But you're wearing my U.S. Army uniform, and I'm saying Army. I'm not talking about. I am certain the Marines did the same thing, because these kinds of training and doctrine policies are pretty uniform across the sister branches. That's right, Marines. One of my sister branches. But they made it very clear that essentially, if you're brown, you can just do whatever you want. You know, as long as you're not actively and articulately claiming to be an active member of MS-13 or the Sinaloa cartel, etc., you can fly your flags. And yes, Aaron, they showed us the Puerto Rican flag. Yeah. And I would see them on base all the time, and it aggravated the shit out of me that I was constantly told that any icon that you might have, that in any way, if you're just a regular old white boy American, basically anything that wasn't the U.S. flag, which don't get it twisted, big fan of the U.S. flag, but anything but that would essentially be taken to mark you out as a member of an anti-American group. Let's be very clear about this. Mexico is an anti-American group. The president of Mexico, Gloria Shinbal, has come out and made a statement about the riots as they're going on in Los Angeles right now. And let's talk about what these riots are actually about.
Porque de ser necesario nos vamos a movilizar, porque no queremos que haya impuestos a las remesas de nuestros paisanos.
We don't want to pay taxes. We don't want our people to pay taxes. Remember, this is a 3.4% tax, I think it is, on remittances, right? I don't know how your Spanish is. Mine's pretty decent. We don't want to pay taxes on the remittances. You understand what that is? We're talking about colonizers, is what they are. We're talking about hostile foreign immigrants, foreign invaders who have come into this country. They are not paying taxes, sales taxes, whatever. They're coming here, they're making money illegally, and then they're expatriating our capital. They're expatriating the wealth and treasure of the United States to their host foreign nation. They're taking money out of America and sending it overseas. Well, okay, so they share a land border. They're sending it out of the country. They're sending our money out of the country back to Mexico. And the Mexican president is pitching a temper tantrum about the fact that we're charging an excise tax for that money to leave America. Yo, if you're a foreign invader, you're just straight stealing money, and they're mad about there being a tax on it. Yo, Donald Trump doesn't need to send the Marines to Los Angeles. He needs to send them to fucking Mexico. We need to stop playing around with this and pretending like what's happening here is we have inconvenient foreigners. She says it. She says it.
De Estados Unidos a México, porque de ser necesario nos vamos a movilizar, porque no queremos que haya impuestos a las remesas de nuestros
remesas. She's talking about
paisanos. De Estados Unidos a México,
She says we might have to mobilize. We might have to mobilize. I'm sorry. What? Did the president of Mexico just declare war on the United States? We may have to mobilize? Honey, I'm not sure if you understand, but when people talk about opening a can of whoop ass, they're talking about is a C-130 full of Marines. Please mobilize. Dear gods, please mobilize. One of the things that concerned me, that I was quite worried about while I was active duty, was the possibility that Barack Hussein Obama would try to deploy military, U.S. military, against certain groups in the U.S. If you remember, at the time, the Tea Party was a big deal, and Tea Party had rallies. Now, big difference between a Tea Party rally and anything a Democrat would do. You know, Democrats show up and they burn down your fucking cities. The Tea Party shows up and they leave your park cleaner than they found it, right? But there was constant, if you remember back in Obama's day, racism was basically over, and then Obama came in office and went out of his way. If I'd had a son, he'd have looked like Trayvon. Would he now? Would he now? You know, Barry and Big Mike, they adopted two young girls. They bought them two babies. You have to do that when you don't have a vagina in the mix to make a baby out of. Oh, but if he'd have had a son, that boy would have looked like Trayvon. Would he now? And a major narrative around the Tea Party was that they were a bunch of racists, right? And it's, I always loved the Tea Party, the branding there, taxed enough already, well played. That's that may be one of the best artificial retconning of a manufactured acronym. Aaron Olson, wait, Obama's kids are adopted? Yes. that's probably, yeah, Aaron. That is the only piece of evidence for Michelle's manhood that is bigger than his dick. So the Donald has sent the Marines downrange. Frank, oh no, I'll get distracted for just a minute. We got a troll. Trump is destroying our country. Oh, Jesus. Get a job, bitch. 700 Marines deployed to Los Angeles amid ongoing ICE protests. Who's destroying our country? Freight Catholic codename. Okay, I'm just going to call you Narc. So the Fed says that Trump is destroying our country. Let's see. I'll take your bait there. Ed Krasenstein says, is this the riot in Los Angeles, California that Trump needs to send Marines to help stop? I'm confused. Nah, he's trying to turn a peaceful protest into a riot for political gain. Oh, yeah, you got 15 seconds of a bunch of people standing around in broad daylight. Or maybe the problem looks more like this. Yeah, those are cars on fire. That's not a good look, kids. Those are the Waymo cars. Basically, they ordered a bunch of them. Right, here you go. Standing on top of the Waymo. I mistakenly assumed that was a what do you call it, a cop car yesterday, and I was corrected, and rightly so. Those are Waymos. So apparently, what happened there is somebody ordered a bunch of Waymos and just set them on fire. Sergeant Major says, "Notice the mask." Yeah, he's wearing like an evil skull mask type of mask. Looks like something out of Slipknot or Typo Negative, maybe. Right? You know, we've got arson, we've got attacks on police, we've got, you know, flying the flag of a foreign sovereign power, more fires, more sovereign powers, etc. Right? Now, I talked about this a bit yesterday. That's what flags are for. When somebody's flying a national flag in the context of ongoing combat operations, especially in another country, what you have is the conduct of war. So Gloria Shinbal has threatened to mobilize Mexico. That is tantamount to a declaration of war. And Mexicans are flying the Mexican flag on U.S. soil and conducting active combat operations against American law enforcement, against American government officials. They're interfering with law enforcement operations, and they're destroying property. What needs to be happening right now is basically everybody on the scene needs to be, I want to say put in handcuffs, but frankly, I don't know that we have that many handcuffs available. Right? But you got shitbirds like Ed Krasenstein. Scroll back up to the top of this post. Right? He's showing this, and 16 seconds of clip, just broad daylight early on. You know, somebody throwing the finger. They've got a bunch of signs. Wearing masks. COVID is over. This, you know, and so he's trying to push this narrative that these are peaceful protests. Right? Remember the fiery but mostly peaceful protests. There's a reason that the clips you're seeing out of the area are less of that and more of the fires. Right? Because here's what happens. So, like, for example, Hassan Piker, huge anti-American communist, hates America, actively pro-Islamic terrorist, very popular bread tuber, you know, communist YouTuber type of guy, huge following, huge video turnovers. He's apparently on the ground over there as well. Here's the thing. He's going to be over there trying to point his camera at cops and catch cops doing bad stuff. But the video camera, it shows you what it shows you. So if Hassan Piker isn't finding more peaceful assembly than violent protest, then that makes it simple. Rod Purvis asked a question about hospital bills. I'm not sure where you're going with that one, Rod, because I know where you and I would go with that one in the conversation. And Sergeant Major says, Moss says zip ties, and I agree. Say zip tie the hands and feet, then paraded into the desert. Okay, I'll tell you a story. I ran a raid one time. We went down into a little ville, and we knew there were some bad guys on site, and the plan was to move in fast, wrap them up, take them back. And this is in Afghanistan. And we had the zip tie, like the handcuff zip ties. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but basically they've got two zip blocks connected to them, and two, so they come around. So it's one unit, but it's two ties to zip cuff somebody, and they're already pulled through. So you just slide them on and zip them tight, right? And we didn't have enough of them. We only had like 5 sets of the zip ties, and we were only expecting 3 bad guys on site, and it ended up being a lot more than that. It ended up being, I think it was like 12 of them. Sergeant Major says, I said prodded, I meant prodded, like with a cattle prod. Gotcha. I accept your terms. Anyway, we didn't have quite enough of the zip cuffs with us, so we didn't put them in zip cuffs like that. Instead, we zip cuffed them to one another and brought them in 2 by 2. Just zip cuffed them to one another, and that worked. I tell you what, when you zip cuff somebody's right arm to another guy's right arm, it makes it hard. You can't zip cuff, the left or the right. Then they're walking side by side like they're holding hands. With just a little bit of coordination, a couple of guys can run away together like that. Makes it harder to run them down. But if you zip cuff them to the same side hand, left to left or right to right, it makes it real hard to coordinate running away or trying to get tricky. So that's probably the correct solution on this one. And then holding pinkies, exactly. Okay, guys. So basically, the Donald has deployed the Marines, and I'm here for it. I hate to say this. I expect this to get worse before it gets better, because we're not dealing with one problem in Los Angeles. We're dealing with a host of problems, right? You've got the gangs, you've got the Mexican gangsters, who are distinct and separate danger and threat from the Sinaloa and various drug cartels, South American and Mexican drug cartels, right? That's another interest. So you got 2 there. You've got the Mexican government actively sending their people here for the purpose of expatriating treasure, of stealing our money, right? And you've got the Mexican government basically threatening to declare war. At the same time, you have the actual hostile foreign invaders. They can be seen as a completely separate group, a completely separate problem. And then you've got the American Democrat Party, which by all reasonable metrics, should be considered by every American, especially every elected official, law enforcement agent, or military officer. The American Democrat Party today should be considered a domestic enemy. The Democrat Party is currently engaged in the active conduct of rogue activity. The Democrat Party has chosen to be an enemy of the state. Right? We saw it all through Trump's first administration. The leaks, the warfare, the lawfare, the fake impeachments, using intel assets against the sitting president, all that. And then all through the Biden administration, you saw the conduct of lawfare and illegitimate, illegal arrest of Donald Trump and his lawyers and associates. The Democrat Party is conducting an active coup against the American government. It's that simple. Cross-co-fight. Okay, so I got another troll here. This one sounds like a Russian. So, привет, comrade. Привет, товарищ. Как дела? But crazy guy. That's what MAGA is doing. Oh? Really? I'd like to see some receipts on that claim. Donald Trump won an election. Joe Biden did not. It's not complicated. It's not complicated. It says MAGA is corrupt and becoming Belarus for Russia. Watch out. Okay, so Kroskofit is politically illiterate. That's entertaining. So that's all I've got for you today, guys. It is Taco Tuesday. I think I'm going to throw something on the griddle with some tortillas this evening, because there are some beautiful things to celebrate from good old Mexican culture. Just, apparently not the fucking people. So yes, mass deportations. Yes, send in the Marines. Yes, get LA under control. One of the mistakes that Donald Trump made in his first administration was not using the National Guard to put down the violence of the Democrat. It's that simple. So you guys be safe out there. Thanks for watching this morning. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow.